Hey, yeah? You ever wonder why we're here?
If you've ever seen Red vs. Blue, you may recognize that as the very first and most infamous line of the show. It's this hilariously existential moment where two soldiers, Simmons and Griff, are standing on the roof of their base, essentially just waiting for something to happen. Griff follows up with,
It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it? Why are we here? I mean, are we the product of some cosmic coincidence, or is there really a God watching everything, with a plan for us and stuff? I don't know, man, but it keeps me up at night. What? I mean, why are we out here, in this canyon? Yeah. Well, let's talk about God.
I recently rewatched the show, and this scene hit me a little different than it has in the past. It got me thinking, and I started asking myself, what am I doing here? Not like, what am I doing in my room, or in my kitchen, but what am I doing in my life right now? Am I just sitting around waiting for something to happen? Am I just drifting, working my 9 to 5 and consuming content like a hamster on a wheel, endlessly running but getting nowhere? What can or should I be doing here? I think about that a lot lately, and I think I've finally decided to break out of the rut I've been stuck in. For the uninitiated, Red vs. Blue is a web series created by Bernie Burns and what would later become the beginnings of his production company Rooster Teeth. The show started all the way back in 2003 using Halo Combat Evolved, although it doesn't really have anything to do with the game's story itself. It's about two groups of soldiers, one red team and one blue team, stationed in a canyon called Bloodgulch. At first, it's just a standard episodic comedy. The characters argue, screw around, and do a whole lot of nothing.
Okay, look, they're just standing there and talking, okay? That's all they're doing. That's all they ever do, is just stand there and talk. That's what they were doing last week. That's what they were doing when you asked me 5 minutes ago. So 5 minutes from now, when you ask me, what are they doing, my answer is going to be, they're still just talking, and they're still just standing there.
What are they talking about?
You know what? I fucking hate you.
As the series goes on, however, it becomes a much more serialized, yet still ridiculous, drama, action, comedy amalgamation of some kind.
This must be karma for kicking Maine out the window.
I don't wanna do that! Son of a gun!
Breakneck pace, no Eric's supposed to be the head on this chase. Goons looking at my heels, move my wheels, cause I'm not trying to get killed. Ooh, what I'm gonna do? Me and the crew, one false move, we through. Stress level high, it's full court press. Can't guess wrong, the result is death. A dream feel like a kid need middleman. Gotta get away from this bullshit middleman. Push to the max. We ain't swift, we facing the action.
Hold on.
Almost there, unaware of what awaits us in the air.
Get the package back to command. Now. On it.
Well, there goes our ride.
You think maybe we should...
I've always struggled with figuring out what my goals were in life, what I wanted to do, or who I wanted to be when I grew up. In recent years, I've started really leaning into the idea that I want to create something meaningful, and something I can be proud of. Something that might inspire people to go create their own something. And that's where Red vs. Blue comes in. In the final episode of Season 14, Vic talks about the idea of there being an infinite number of universes, and therefore an infinite number of stories to tell, and encourages listeners to go out and tell their own.
You know, I keep thinking back to this whole multiverse thing. If there's really an infinite number of parallel universes, then that means there's probably an infinite number of stories out there that still need to be told. Maybe some of them are funny. Maybe some of them are sad. Maybe some of them start off looking funny, but then they totally hit you with the bait and switch and get you all sad. I don't know. After all, I'm just one of an infinite number of Vics. Which is exactly why I'm here. Why I've been guiding you this entire time. To open a window. To open your eyes to the truth. As long as there's stories, there needs to be storytellers. And that is where you come in. Tell your story, dude or dudettes. It could be one in a billion others, but it'll be yours. Make it about the Reds. Make it about the Blues. Heck, make it about some other group of soldiers that no one ever heard about until you told them. Show us villains that tell themselves they're heroes. Build entire worlds brick by brick. Teach the galaxy about friendship. But whatever you do, don't stop. Because a universe without stories, well, that's just empty space, amigo.
This really resonated with me and was kind of the spark that made me want to do this. I connect so deeply with Red vs. Blue because of how it handles the theme of discovering and living out your purpose. None of the characters really start with an understanding of what their purpose is. Take Church, for example. He starts off as this self-proclaimed leader who's full of flaws. He's controlling, abrasive, and often selfish. But underneath all that, Church desperately wants to matter.
Church,
Yeah?
you ever wonder why we're here?
You know, Caboose, I used to not care. I just went along with the orders and hoped that everything would work out for me. But after all that's happened, you know what I've learned? It's not about hating the guy on the other side because someone told you to. I mean, you should hate someone because they're an asshole, or a pervert, or a snob, or they're lazy, or arrogant, or an idiot, or a know-it-all. Those are reasons to dislike somebody. You don't hate a person because someone told you to. You have to learn to despise people on a personal level. Not because they're red, or because they're blue, but because you know them, and you see them every single day, and you can't stand them because they're a complete and total fucking douchebag.
As the series progresses, he faces the reality that his role in the team, and even his own identity, may not be what he thought. His story is about learning to let go of control and finding purpose in how he impacts others, even if it's not in the way he imagined. Then there's Agent Washington, a former freelancer haunted by the failures of his past. He grapples with regret and self-doubt after being betrayed by the people he trusted most. Wash's journey is about redemption, about proving to himself that he's more than the mistakes of his past. He goes from someone consumed by anger and guilt to a leader who learns to rely on and care for the team around him.
Agent Washington, what do you make of all this?
I think it sounds like exactly what I encountered, except it's stronger now and becoming more so all the time.
Does that concern you?
It doesn't make me excited.
You've been through a lot with this program, Agent Washington. The Epsilon AI we assigned
Has
you
already been discussed to death. I'm over it.
And now your physical problems, because of your last encounter.
I'm better now, mentally and physically.
Our profile of you disagrees with your assessment.
Look, the last mission I ran against this thing, I got shot in the back by my own partner.
Agent South, we feel some responsibility for that.
Yeah, you should. If I hadn't had York's healing unit, I'd be dead now. So while this isn't ideal and I don't feel like sticking my neck out for you guys, if it puts me on a path that leads to her, You can trust me at least that far.
So you would say that you have overwhelming feelings of anger and a need for revenge?
More than you know.
And Caboose, he's often the comic relief, the one who seems like he doesn't quite fit in. But that's exactly his arc, finding his place in a group that doesn't always understand or appreciate him. Caboose reminds us that belonging doesn't come from being perfect or useful in traditional ways. It comes from being yourself and finding people who accept you for it.
Hey, everyone! Caboose! Where have you been? Yeah, I went on a walk like you said, and now everything is gonna be good forever!
Told you so!
Wait, Caboose, you were miserable. What happened?
Oh, now where are my manners? I haven't even introduced him.
Introduced who?
Freckles! Come! Everyone, I would like you to meet Freckles! Freckles! Say hello.
Enemy soldiers detected.
No, those aren't enemies, Freckles. Those are Griffin Tibbets. Our enemies.
Firing main cannons.
No! Bye, Freckles! Down!
Yes, Master.
Bye, Freckles. So, what are you guys up to?
Church makes a speech at the end of Season 13 that I won't go into a ton of detail about to avoid spoiling too much, but there's just so much emotion and passion in the writing that it gives me chills, and I can't help but get a little teary-eyed every time I watch it. Which is essentially why I want to tell stories. To convey those emotions, to give people those chills that make you want the story to never end. Not because I have all the answers, but because I think stories, like Red vs. Blue, can help us figure out why we're here, our purpose in life. So why am I here? Maybe it's just one of life's great mysteries. But what I've realized is I can't wait around forever to find out. I have to do something. Even if it's messy, even if I don't know where it'll lead, I just have to start. That's what Red vs. Blue has taught me. And hopefully, if you're sitting there wondering what to do next, it can teach you too.
Drinking martinis by myself on a